The legacy of colonialism has had a significant impact on the economic development of many African countries. Some of the ways in which colonialism has affected the African economy include extractive economies. During the colonial era, many African countries were used as sources of raw material for European industry. This created an economic system that was heavily reliant on export of primary commodities such as mineral oil and agricultural products. This legacy continues today, with many African countries still heavily dependent on the export of natural resources, which can be vulnerable to fluctuation in global commodities prices. Another is an equal trade relationship. The term of trade between European colonizers and African countries were often heavily skewed in favor of colonizer. African countries were forced to sell their raw material at low price and buy finished goods from Europeans at high price. This created a situation where Africa was essentially exporting wealth to Europe rather than building its own industrial base. Another is infrastructure development. The colonial powers invested in infrastructure development in Africa, but this was often done with a view to extracting resources rather than building a sustainable economy. Many of the roads, railway, and ports built during the colonial era were designed to transport raw material out of Africa rather than to import local trade and economic development. Another is labor exploitation. The colonial powers relied heavily on forced labor to extract resources from Africa. This created a situation where a large number of Africa were forced to work in mines, plantations, and other industries for very low wages, while European colonizers made significant profit. The last is political instability. The legacy of colonialism has also contributed to political instability in many African countries. Many of the borders created by colonial powers ignored ethnic and linguistic difference, creating a situation where different groups were forced to live together in the same country. This has led to ongoing conflict and tension, which have undermined economic development and instability. Overall, the legacy of colonialism has created a situation where many African countries have struggled to build strong and diversified economies. Addressing these underlying issues will require a long-term commitment to build strong institutions, promoting economic diversification, and addressing the root cause of inequality and stability.